Ahem. Right there, I think I did it. I'm thinking around here, trying to get a couple of last minute things together for tonight's live stream, and then I realized that we went supposed to go live at 7:30. So that tells you the level of preparedness here. Just hang on. 1, 2, 3, 4 more seconds. Mrs. Comic in the house on the couch. I know Clee's sister's in the house. Richter should be in the house. There's Kevin Keller. I posted on the Patreon. Um, excuse me. Posted on the Patreon if there was any requests for rants. And you can see I'm still hacking away. I'm 2 requests tonight from Richter and Clee's sister, so that's fun stuff. We'll probably get to those. And let's see here. I got this. I'm going to adjust this one teeny tiny little bit, and I will be ready to go. Bing, bang, boom. There's that. Here's this. And there I get text messages from the family, of course, and number one son album down in where we had our Thanksgiving. Its text came in. No word on when Impossible Ham will be invented. And that is that'll be exciting. If that ever happens, who's ever inventing fake meat, let's go with Impossible Ham because that's what we want. Here we go. Let's rock this thing here. Here we go. Howdy do, folks. Here we are again. Raymond Amish Comic and Mrs. Comic in the house, hanging out with y'all in the chat, making Tuesdays suck less. Hopefully, Kevin Keller in with some loot. Appreciate the tips. I really do. You folks rock. Again, I'm gonna toot my own horn. I love that we're still doing this because this whole thing was created in pandemic when people felt strongly about it. People were alone. A lot of people live alone, and it was actually kind of fun to reach out to people. The idea that this thing would keep going is kerpow. So that's kind of really truly amazing. Tuesday nights have been working out good for us. I posted on Patreon again for requests. I gotta get more stuff on Patreon to get it out there in the world. But here we go. It is December 5th. 2023 Tuesday night, making Tuesday suck less. We have holiday themed editions. I don't know if anybody ever did this. We're talking about some traditions and stuff. Tomorrow is Bibbidi Bobbidi Boo, Saint Nicholas Day, and that we always called it Boot Day. So tonight, if you put your boots out, Santa Claus will come and put money and gifts in them. That's always worked for our daughter. I don't know how well it works if I put boots out myself, if raccoon will shit in them, or what's going to happen, or if someone steals the boot. But it's St. Nicholas boot night. I think originally people did it and hoped Santa Claus would drop some coins in there so they have some extra money to shop with, but it's kind of taken on a Christmas stocking kind of thing. So boot night, you can put a boot out there. If nobody in your family or circle of friends is aware of St. Nicholas boot night, when you put the boots out, don't be disappointed when there's dick in there because it's kind of an oddball thing. We always like boot night. I actually sneakily just text messaged our daughter's boyfriend about boot night in defense of him. If he doesn't do anything in boot night for our daughter, I didn't really give him much of a heads up. Also, our daughter Jyoti of Jyoti and Al, and they creep in and out of here. It's her birthday tomorrow. December birthdays are brutal on account of I covered that before. As people go, here, this is for birthday and Christmas. We never do that because it would have to be a really fucking ridiculously amazing gift for it to be that. So here we go. I'm making some notes here. I'm doing a lot of tweaking here. We're 99% sure we are not going with the Christmas tree on account of cats. Don't judge us. We still have some Christmas decorations going up around here, lights and all that stuff. And also, on a happy slash sad note, Sparky, who achieved fame in the live streams, loved the Christmas tree and actually helped decorate it, and she'd dive into it. And also, so it's a little sad that I have Sparky around. And be more sad if the tree came in. Mary the cat, we always had high hopes for her loving the tree, and she'd like notice it and be like, well, I was outside, and the trees were out there, and that kind of sucked being outside. So yeah, thanks for bringing in a thing to remind me how horrible it was to live outside. Mrs. Comic had a wonderful idea. We always got real Christmas trees, and then um, they say if you have the place to put them out and lay them by a bush or something, wildlife loves it. And when they actually get really brittle, if you want to burn them, that's a lot of fun too. We actually have two old brittle Christmas trees out back that I do not believe Bearcat pissed on, and we're actually thinking of decorating one of those, but leaving it outside, which brings me to a silly fun. We're so much fun. We had our tree up and out one year, and our granddaughters were kind of sort of grown up, but still a little. And they were coming up, and we had our tree down. So I went and decorated the tree outside that was all dead and with the needles and all that shit. So I think that might have been what put it in Mrs. Comic's head to decorate the brittle, whatever the hell is. I think we're probably going to do that. I don't know where we're going to put it. Um, Also, I have to order for myself for Christmas a no salesman or solicitors sign, which I didn't think I'd have to have because in the town where we live, to be able to go around door to door and be a pain in our ass, you have to file paperwork, and they post that there's active solicitors, and there's hardly ever any. So when they're posted, all of the May's pages been shut down. So there were three creeping around the other day, and we don't have a no solicitor sign up, but we created a new brilliant system. It's called "We See That You're Out There, and We're Not Going to Answer the Door." The one peckerhead, there were two across the street. I hate when they tag team, but I kind of like when they tag team because when somebody ding dongs, they're like, "Whoa, who the fuck is that?" Then if you see they're tag teaming the neighborhood, but I peeked out through the window and they didn't have on that big badge that says, "I am here to sell you some shit because you're too fucking stupid to buy some." I buy stuff that I want. I buy shit that I want, and I don't need anybody to remind me to buy a thing. All right, so how about that? So be on guard for salesmen. I really have a lot of trust issues anymore. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to address two rant requests. First, let's deal with Richter, who you can count on Richter to request weird shit. That's why we love Richter. Richter requested on Patreon, and I don't know if it's probably posted for you peckerheads to see. I mean that in a nice way. Richter wanted me to discuss how bourbon balls and the Black Lodge are good for the soul. That was one thing that he wanted. Now, bourbon balls are definitely good for the soul. Um, we all created bourbon balls here. Me adjusting my live stream with bourbon, and then something went wrong, and the frame was here, and then I went live again, and the drink was out of the frame, and I accidentally spilled a little bourbon on my balls. That was actually a fun night, and bourbon balls actually was born of uh, learning something. How often do you learn something when you spill bourbon on your balls? That's typically a night when you don't learn anything except you could be accused of drunk driving if just because you have bourbon smell on your balls. And now the Black Lodge is good for your soul if you're with Twin Peaks. But now that's an interesting room there, Richter, because you really don't want to go to the Black Lodge because typically if you're sent there, you're stuck there, and there's evil there. But there's some awesome that happens in the Black Lodge, so that's a gray area. I don't really know if the Black Lodge is actually good for your soul, Richter. I think the Black Lodge is possibly your doppelganger took your soul and abandoned you in the Black Lodge and is running around fucking up your life, or maybe you were an asshole and the doppelganger you is having a better life than you. So if you're a douchebag and a dick and someone more awesome dumped you in a Black Lodge and ran around and improved your life, uh, aka Twin Peaks season 3, Dougie Jones, real douchebag, Evil Cooper morphed out there. There was two Dougie Joneses, and so that was an upgrade for him. So that was actually good for Dougie Jones, slut bag, douchebag, asshole, father, husband. Uh, he got an upgrade. So actually, the Black Lodge can be good for your soul. So that's kind of amazing shit there. And Richter has a disdain for Scrapple. So I would like to share my disdain for Scrapple. Um, Scrapple is a mystery, and it shouldn't be. It is self-titled Scrapple. Scrap is in the word. So basically, what Scrapple is a thing that no one should ever eat. It's stuff that people normally would throw away, but instead of throwing it away, it becomes this horrible, white, disgusting, charcoal kind of weird meat that probably Bearcat wouldn't even eat. So, Richter, I'm with you with Scrapple, and then I get a lot of uh, accusations of loving Scrapple. Amish angle, you gotta love Scrapple. That is incorrect. So yeah, Scrapple is the thing that if you can avoid Scrapple, I highly recommend avoiding Scrapple at all costs. And I'm vegetarian now, so in fact, I was offered vegetarian Scrapple, and that's the dumbest thing I ever heard in my life. I don't know why you would possibly want a vegetarian option of something that sucked batshit balls. So we'll just Scrapple. But Scrapple, where Scrapple came into play in my life was a thing. I did a whole bunch of thing years ago on infomercials, and I decided I was going to become rich by inventing the Scrapple-matic, and that would be one of those things like one of the magic bullet and all that weird shit, and all that shit you used to throw in the trash. Now throw it in a Scrapple-matic, and that becomes tomorrow's dinner buffet. So there ends the disdain for Scrapple. Um, but it's kind of hard to believe Scrapple even exists. And then there's Spam, which seems like it would be in fierce competition for Scrapple. And again, that's another thing that I can't believe exists. Hot dogs are kind of horrible meat, but at least they have some kind of wholesome connection to you know take me out to the ballpark and get a weenie. So there's logic to having a bad hot dog. There is absolutely no reason to eat Scrapple. I just don't know. I think people eat it and then they brag about it. And I'm supposed to be impressed, like, whoa, I had Scrapple. Hallelujah. Well, I had a Happy Meal last week. I didn't come banging on your door. So that ends my Scrapple rant. Now, Clee's sister wants a snow rant. You'll get a snow rant, Clee's sister, but I think that's my snow rants. I'm kind of really proud of them. So that's probably going to be the finale of tonight's show. So I'm going leafing through here. Um, I've had some really weird show business experience. I'm having a run of fire halls that have gone a little bit nuts. I just did the Kutztown Fire Company. It didn't sell as well as any of us would have liked. Uh, the story unfolds there at war with their social hall. That I could be at war with your local fire department. I don't really know, and I'm careful about how I accuse people of doing nothing, even though I know they did nothing, and they did nothing to promotion for this show besides me spending money on uh, social media ads like Kevin Keller's $10, Richter's money got invested in the show and it went down the shitter. They went on to tell me they had flyers in 3 different towns, the main town and 2 other towns. The story unfolds. They got some flyers and there was a 15-year-old kid there, went on his bicycle and rode around and put them up. That was it. That was it. That was it. Um, Somehow they paid me a reduced fee, but the show was really fun, and the audience had a big block of the audience was people that hired me for Halloween parties. So thank you, Halloween party people coming to the show, to the Fire Hall show. And again, it's kind of a stupid joke from my show, but when I do fire hall shows, even if they're packed, really it's fire hall, volunteer firefighter fundraiser, and I think they are rock stars because like right now, if I'm a firefighter, I'm drinking bourbon or whatever, and the fire alarm goes off, I gotta fucking go. I really have trouble getting up when the cat cries. So when the fire alarm would go, I'm just the firefighters. I love the firefighters. There's a little something weird out there. I kind of sort of think I'm sounding all cocky and full of myself. I think my reputation now is that my shows sell out a lot, and I think people sometimes hire me and they think they don't have to do much. That is incorrect. You have to do all the shit. And if they would have asked me, I could have helped them, but they didn't. So here we go. Now back to some more holiday ranch shit here. Um, well, I don't know if anybody does this. I haven't done this for a while because crunks. I have crunks in my life, but back over my life, hippie crunks. Um, excuse me. I just thought about this today too. We used to get red hashish and green hashish, and then for Christmas it was awesome to try to get the red and the green. The green was easy to get, the red was not so easy to get. So if we got any red hashish around October or November, we would save it as best we could and get some green, and you have a little Christmas hash, a little green, and a little red. Completely unaware of what the effects would be one or the other. It might have been the fucking stupidest thing we've ever done. But there's that right there. Bibbity bobbity boo. So, bless you, Mrs. Comic Sneezing. So, I'm talking a little bit, teeny little about Christmas traditions. All families have them. If they don't, they should have them. Having no traditions is actually kind of really a tradition. Now, one that it's not really a Christmas tradition, but Mrs. Comic's mother, the Nan they called her, Joyce, I lucky enough to have been best friends with, I don't know if best friends, but really good friends with my mother-in-law. That's kind of weird. When we lost her, that's a painful thing, but she's part of this family, part of the flow of tradition. And it's nice to see the kids carrying on some of the traditions. And she loved peppermint schnapps, not as an alcoholic, it was always there. If you had a cold or coughing or hacking, she'd in there, have some peppermint schnapps. It's good for you. I love it. When I smell peppermint schnapps, I smell Christmas. And some people really hate it. A friend of mine, Frank, it, peppermint schnapps. You want to share traditions with people. That's another thing. If you want to share traditions with people, that's amazing. But don't expect them to hold your traditions in the same reverence that you do. It's good to share them, but allow them to either accept it or reject it. Frank did not like peppermint schnapps, and he actually smelled it and said, "You don't expect me to drink this. I can't actually believe that you people like this. It's very refreshing, but it's no. I think peppermint schnapps is one of those all or nothing. You don't kind of like it a little bit. Either pow, you love it, or get that fucking thing out of here. So peppermint schnapps, that's a tradition. Um, I'm dicking around here. Um, we got the the boot night. That's a tradition right here. Let's see here. We got um, oh, not so much tradition, but there's I think there's some really good Christmas episodes of shows like The Office has really great Christmas episodes. Uh, Michael J. Scott with Yankee Swap, where they have a $30 limit, and he goes in. He kind of has a romance with Ryan, even though they're both straight. He can't help himself. He just is in love with this guy. He goes nuts and gets like a $400 video iPod, and when there's a $30 thing, and somehow they decide to, and that was supposed to be Secret Santa, where you got a name, and then you would buy a present for that exact person, and you knew who you were shopping for, but they didn't know who was getting it. And then Michael went in and fucked everything up and turned it into Yankee Swap. So all the personalized gifts were kind of put up for grabs. Why I bring this up is my brother-in-law, they don't really do them anymore, or if they do them, it's somewhere, I don't know. He was like one of like 13 brothers and sisters, and the families got big and they grew up and they had kids and they had their own kids, and so they had by tradition Christmas Day a uh, a Yankee swap is really what it was. Some people call them naughty Santa, dirty Santa, white elephant. What it is, you buy a gift and you wrap it and you put it in there, and then they draw names, and then you pick a gift, right? And that's it. And you open it up, and first person is kind of stuck with it. So the next name that comes out has the option of taking the gift that the first person got. If you draw the first one, you suck, man. You actually want to get last draw. So because you can select any gift that anybody's holding, and this brother-in-law thing, I would never take part of them because these are the nicest people you want to meet. But the rules were fucking off for the Christmas gift exchange. In fact, people would select gifts that they didn't even want if they knew somebody else really wanted it. They just wanted to dick them. And then there's a lot of gamesmanship going on. If you get a case of beer or a tool set, something that people really wanted, people tried to like hide it. You have to sit there with your gift, and you'd be like under a chair and all that shit. Those were brutal. I actually filmed a couple of them. I might still have one filmed somewhere. I've had to get that to your sister. Um, but that's not for the weak of heart. That's advanced level shit to do one of those. But they were masters at it. So that was a fun romp. Fun to see it. I wouldn't want to be it. But it was fun to be in there and referee. Plus, I used to heckle the cheaters. If somebody had like a bottle of wine or something, they were hiding it. And somebody was there any good gifts? Said that they're hiding a bottle of wine under there, and then there's a puzzle there that nobody wants. Which brings me to another rant here. Puzzles are a tradition, not just for Christmas, but people love them. Mrs. Comic loves them. Her family loved puzzles. They always had a giant puzzle going at the table over holidays or just get-togethers. And I actually never really liked puzzles. To my way of thinking, a puzzle is you had a picture that was nice, and you fucking broke it up into a million pieces and you had to put it back together, or you could just look at the boxes. People love puzzles. I never really had the patience for puzzles, but again, the Nan, Joyce, my mother-in-law, um, every so often you get peer pressured. I get peer pressured into doing this, and I would just sit and stare at nothing. And your mother used to take a puzzle piece. I would hope for a corner. If I did anything, I'd try to do a corner because there was a corner, and then I got a fucking corner, so it can only be one of four different places. I'll do corners, and then I'll call it a day. She would hand me a piece with 19 different knobs on it, whatever the hell they're called, from the middle of the puzzle, and it would be from the snowbank, and 300 other pieces looked just like it, and she would go, "Oh, you know where this goes." And I never did. And I never said, "How the hell?" I knew she was dicking with me, but you don't really challenge your mother-in-law and say, "How the hell do you believe that I know where that goes?" And she knew that I wouldn't challenge her, so this was a kind of a thing. Here, you know where this goes. And I don't even think I ever got one that she said where I knew where it went. So puzzles are kind of weird, but that's a thing, a tradition here. Uh, People requesting puzzles. In fact, a gift was requested by our daughter Jyoti. Uh, when you ask people what they want for Christmas and birthday and all that stuff, it's fun when they tell you something, but it's also for me, like she picked for birthday a puzzle board. It's like to me it's boring because I don't really like puzzles, but it's a fold up, traveling like a briefcase, almost like an art portfolio. But it's really if you have cats, so that because cats love puzzles too, and that's really bad for completing the puzzle. So the idea is that the flaps would fold over, and then you could do the puzzle over multiple days. So consider a puzzle briefcase for the puzzle lover in your family that also has cats who like to fuck up the puzzle. So there's that. And now also, I'm all over the place, as is my way. Um, Things piss me off or they irk me a little bit for no apparent reason. One of the things that irks me right now is there's a Capital One dancing Santa, and he's supposed to be all groovy, and he looks like kind of like a biker who went white instead of gray, and he's supposed to be really fucking cool. And I believe in show business, when you're trying to project cool, it looks opposite of cool. So this cool Santa to me looks fucking worse than the most boring. It could have taken a really boring classic Santa, and he would have looked fucking cooler than this guy. It bothers me. It shouldn't bother me. The guy's probably a great actor. I don't know. I would take the Santa Claus gig in the Capital One commercial because it's probably a good payday, and I'd probably suck at it. So I'm jealous of him getting the work, but I think he sucks. I don't like that they cast this guy as the groovy Santa, and that shouldn't really bother me, but it fucking does, which brings me to a thing that I don't know if exists anymore, but I believe if you take your kids to a mall Santa anymore, you're a bad parent because it's shitty pay. So the level of human being that would agree to be a mall Santa is really fucking scary. I don't know if you would want to run the mall Santa through fucking crime lab, or if mall Santas are uh, prisoners on the work release program. I don't really know uh, about any of that stuff, but mall Santas, kerpow. I don't. In fact, I don't even know who go to malls anymore. I really don't have much use for malls. In fact, Mrs. Comic went out to get. There was a big candle sale, and I thought it was Bed Bath and Beyond, but it was actually Bod, Bed Bath Body Works, yeah, something like that. So Richter in with the bourbon fun. Yahoo! Thank you, Richter. Um, so she was going to go to malls. They had candle day, candle sale, like $30 candles for like $10, and they're actually really nice candles. The 3 wick candle. So I thought she drove way up to the big Lehigh Valley Mall. There's actually one in the South Mall, so I agreed to go, and I was all proud of myself because I agreed to drive us up to the Lehigh Valley Mall. I didn't want to, but here it was just the South Mall. Doesn't reflect on the challenge of Mrs. Comic driving to a mall and making the purchase of me going back. But I, to me, the South Mall is fucking closed. The South Mall's got a Yakko's, and there's a Ross over there, I think anymore, and there's a pizza shop hanging on. That's it. I actually walked into this South Mall, and it fucked me up a little bit because to my way of thinking, that mall's been closed for years, which is kind of weird because this time of year, the parking lot to get out of there is fucking packed solid. Yes, there's a liquor store. Yes, there's a Staples over there, but how a mall that's basically closed can have fucking backed up traffic to get out is anybody's guess. That spooked the fuck out of me, but we did some candle shopping over there, and Mrs. Comic throwing down. She pulls off shit with coupons that I would not do, and also quiet. Oh, I got a text on her. She pulls off shit that I would not do, and gets away with it, and then it's kind of awesome. So the $10 candles actually came down to like $7. So shout out to Mrs. Comic because I'm the person who goes, they're not going to let you put a coupon on top of a sale already, all right? And then she says, I don't know if this will work because you already have a sale. And they go, oh, yes, that'll fine. Then I'm the dick, but I'm the happy dick because I am paying less. Now, why this thing went off there, I don't know if I'll be able to do this or not. Let's see. I made a note for myself. I get some weird shit on eBay for gifts. Now, that's not the greatest idea. And so there is, what's going to happen now, we're going to make history here. Um, there's an item I want to bid on for our daughter, and the auction is closing in 2 minutes and a half. So what we're going to do is we're going to watch me try to win an eBay auction. I have a system, and it's not foolproof, but it's a pretty good system, but it's not for the weak of heart. If you're bidding on an item that is not buy it now, and you bid on it early, you're fucking idiots. You're bidding against your own self. So this thing the price is only $4.99, and there's only 2 minutes left, and I'm going to bid on this thing. I figure out the maximum amount of money that I am willing to spend on that item, and I go in with like 5 fucking seconds left, and it's all or nothing. It's hit or miss. This is not the pinnacle of live entertainment, but this is critical here. I set the timer. We are now down to 1 minute and 39 seconds. I'm going to start to figure out what I want to bid. There's actually only one bid on it, and I feel sorry for some asshole who bid on the thing 7 days ago and go, well, I'm the only one who bid on it, so I'm absolutely going to get it. And the bearded prick comes in and swoops that fucker up. I'm kind of hoping that's it. Now, we're not at the 1 minute mark yet. And this, you know how soccer plays longer after it's done on account of weird shit that happened? Well, that's what's happening here. So I'm going to get my bid ready to come in here at the last second. Now we're at the 1 minute mark. And then if I don't get it, I'm a little disappointed, but I'm not that disappointed because I've already maxed out what I'm willing to bid. Also, people who bid on eBay and it's a really good deal and there's a buy it now and there's like 6, 7 watchers, I always just go, what the fuck are you watching it for? Watch me take it. Because if you find a good deal, fucking take it. No watchers. All right, we're at the 31-second mark here. Let's see if we can get this thing. I can say what it is because it's for our daughter and she's not watching, and so I can't really say what it is because if I don't get it, then I'm a real dick there. Let's see if I can get this thing. I'm nervous. I am nervous because I mean you want to get it, and it's 10 seconds, and then when it's like 5 seconds left or 4, I get palsy finger. That's 4-second mark. I put my bid in there. Let's see. Got it. The Wheel of Doom spins. I don't know. Attention. This is good. This is live entertainment. I'm showing you how to win. You need nerves of steel. I got it. It says pay now. I'm going to pay now. Right there. And so I don't want you to see my login information here. Pay with PayPal. The only reason I'm paying now is because then I get good reviews on my eBay and my PayPal. Where can you get live entertainment like this? You just can't. So I'm going to put in, the other thing that's pissing me off right now is, for reasons I couldn't tell you, is that I use the fingerprint thing to unlock my phone. For reasons I couldn't tell you, my fingerprint no longer works on my phone. So now I have to have them send me a special code to make sure that that's my fingerprint. So I'm going to do this. This is terrible. None of this counts from my show, but I made history today because you watched me win an eBay auction. Let's see, 720-504, 720-504. That's going to be either a birthday gift for our daughter or a Christmas gift. Mrs. Comic doesn't even know about it. And it's really the kind of thing I got to do because I'm working now. And this eBay auction ends while I'm streaming live and I didn't get it. You will not want to be held responsible for me not getting something for our daughter. So there it is. I got the thing, and we'll see what it is later. Now that goes back to, that was actually a $4.99 gift. So what I'm asking all of you to do for Christmas, there's things you can get for people that are really special, that don't cost a lot of money. Just think about who they are. Richter, you know what this is? This is a Dexter hand with fingernails painted, and this is done at the Giant Family Christmas Eve, and us and our nephews, Lee and Landy, the cat people, were the only ones that watched Dexter. So when I opened this up in front of family and pulled a hand out while the family was in terror, I damn near cried tears of joy to get a Dexter serial killer hands. So think about what people want, and you can get them stuff that doesn't really cost a lot of money if you put a lot of thought into it. So I'm very excited right now. There's that. This, if you have anywhere to go, just fucking go, because the alarm went off that my show is kind of. Oh no, that wasn't the show over alarm. That was the eBay auction alarm ending. So we got plenty of show left here. So now here we go. Um, I'll get back to the Christmas stuff in a minute, because I have a theme in my show where I love my geezers, but this used kids don't remember the good old days. I believe a lot of the good old days are right now. So I'm trying to find things that challenge the concept of the good old days. And the thing that I thought of, and I think a lot of you peckerheads, I mean that in a nice way, remember this and were a victim of it. So you can shop online, bibbity bobbity boo. But there was a day when you could shop with your credit card, only to take your credit card and hand it to a person. And they had a frame and a little plastic uh, thing to hold the credit card. And then there was a credit card slip that had 3 or 4 different things, and it would imprint, and the handle would slide across and smash down and imprint the raised up numbers on your credit card into the slip. And those machines were cheap and shitty, and if you rammed it fast and the card fell out of there, it sliced your fucking credit card in half. So if anybody who's ever had a credit card sliced in half, that sucked, didn't it? And I gotta tell you this, I actually worked at a record store for a few years, and I'm sorry that I sliced a few credit cards. You can't really, when you slice someone's credit card in half, you can't really apologize for that, much as I tried. So there's that special memory. We used to Skype Dexter and stuff. That's right. We used to, Christmas tradition here was our Dexter buddy, Scott, who's in the Philippines. We would Skype, it probably was illegal, to put the computer and aim it at the TV and watch Dexter and Skype it into the Philippines. And then he would have to see it at a weird time, like 6 o'clock in the morning. He'd watch serial killer show. I don't know how you explain that to a boss, but so that was a kind of a great tradition there. Let's see here. Most of it, this isn't even Christmas related, but I'm coming back, and something popped up. Shit pops up and things all the time. Uh, Connected to the credit card, we're going back to probably the 70s. I could probably still do this in the 70s. You could buy shit without a credit card. You could mail in a postcard that was in a magazine to subscribe to a magazine, and just click bill me later, and they'd send you the thing, and they'd send you a bill, and then if you didn't pay it, they'd fucking shut off your thing and turn you over to collection. But there was Columbia House, and they went, and they had records, and they had 8-track tapes and cassettes. You get like 10 fucking tapes or CDs for a penny, and then you'd be in the that thing of the month club. But then they were like $20 a month here. What a fucking ripoff. So those, it's kind of amazing to think about. You could order shit without a credit card, and they trust you up until you dick them over. So imagine how that system will work anymore. Order shit without a credit card. They just bill me. That wouldn't work too well at all. There was also some insane gifts that I remember. One that I wish, I haven't watched too much TV, but the thing that was on TV this time of year, remember Amish made electric heaters. That was the dumbest fucking thing that there ever was. Amish made electric heaters. That's the joke. We have no electric. Amish made electric heaters. Tells you it's a fucking scam. These things were like $400, and the reason they were $400 is that they said the electric heater part was free. But it's just we greedy Amish whores demanded $400 for our magic Amish wood. If you bought an Amish-made electric heater, you made an unwise choice. That's all I'm saying. A dumber thing than that to buy as a gift was a star in the sky. You could buy a star in the sky and they weren't fucking cheap. I think they were a couple $100, and you would get a certificate when you could name the star, and then imagine like Mrs. Comic, what did I get her for her anniversary? Well, I bought you a star, and it's right there. If you're gonna do that, you should also buy like a fucking $300 high-powered telescope so they could see where their fucking gift is, and you could just actually print up a certificate and just say that you bought a star and it's in the sky. That's the dumb shit we bought. Not me, but people would buy. Pet rock, that was another fucking dumb thing. And you just, let's say, for example, if a pet rock was a good idea, wouldn't it be more personal to go and get a special fucking rock? And like our grown up son Alvin went on a hiking trip when he was little, and he brought me a fucking rock from a trail. That's a pet rock right there. But to actually buy a pet rock, yes, a fucking terrible gift. Chia pet, an object that fucking grass grew out of, that's a dumb thing. Well, people would buy the dumbest shit. Uh, we had all the contraptions on TV. The car John was a bottle to piss in that had a funnel. I'm certain we've all had to piss in cars over our lives, and I believe any one of us, if you thought about it ahead of time, could come up with a better bottle and funnel than the car John. The people fucking bought the car John. That was an amazing thing. They also had the commercials would come on, and somehow to be sure to get yours, you had to order before midnight. And so that was a phone call that they just figured you would call. Somehow, if you didn't call by midnight, the operators wouldn't be standing by anymore. Which brings me to my brother in law. I love how he thinks about stuff. He's old school. He's not a big fan of computers. But when the computer shopping craze hit, he had it in his idea. He had his idea, and he likes Kansas City Chiefs, so he had it in his head that if you put, let's say, a $200 Kansas City Chiefs jersey in the shopping cart, some greedy guy was there going, "Oh boy, a dumbass in Emmaus is buying a $200 shirt," and then he would start to complete the purchase, and then he would stop and take it out of the basket, believing he just fucking traumatized some guy that was looking and going, "Oh boy, I just sold a $200 shirt to some asshole in Emmaus," and fucking crush him. I really have no way of proving that he was wrong. For all I know, somebody there was, all greedy and watching the thing go in the basket. So things have evolved as far as the shopping world goes. Sea monkeys, that's another good one. Sea monkeys. Um, I don't even know if we ever had sea monkeys, but we got one of those frogs that you get at the toy store. That blob, a blob lived for like 300 years, and it really did nothing. Blob was in this fucking bowl of water, and when we moved from hell to where we are now, we were all sad and crying because we had transitioned where we could run up a couple blocks and move shit. We were still moving out. But we were all moved down here, but then we were crying a little bit. Our daughter got a tear eye. I said, "What's wrong?" She said, "We left Blob back in hell." So we had to go up to hell in the night, and they had to turn the electric off to bring Blob back. Now, Blob was in the kitchen, and Blob sat in a bowl like this, and for years, it didn't move. So to see if it was dead or not, we would flunk at the thing, and then it would go. Then it scared the fuck out of us. And when Mrs. Comic would change its water, it stayed in Tupperware. Sometimes Blob would escape, and Blob would leap around the kitchen this way and that. So, and then Blob appeared in a uh, Lisa Williams Talk to Ghosts event where I was pissing and moaning, and I said on the way over, I was mocking Mrs. Comic and her sister, "I will believe in all this spirits from the other side," which I do believe in now, if I get a message from Lisa Williams in the form of a message from my father who came in speaking through Blob, the little frog in the kitchen, and then asking how I'm doing, and tell him he didn't really give a shit while I was alive, but just tell him I'm okay and to just go away. If I get a message like that, then I will believe in stuff. Now, I'm in 10 rows back, State Theater. Lisa Williams was a beautiful lady. She's just a lovely lady. She's going, this is very unusual. I've, I'm getting a frog. Is there a frog? Spirit of a frog in a kitchen, and is anyone, and everybody was looking at me, the family, I put my fucking hand up. I'm like, I don't want to fucking talk about the frog. Message from my father come through the kitchen. The message was also, if that happens, tell him I'm fine and just fucking go away. And then the message kind of went away like that, and she said, well, it seems like everything's okay, and went away. Then afterwards, we got to meet her, and I told her about the frog. Boy, did I get fucking hell. The next time you conjure spirits from the other side in the form of a kitchen frog, raise your bloody hand. Well, see, so I didn't think it was that important that we wasted time on me. So there was that, but that actually really happened. So there's that. We got boot night here. Let's see. Turning the page here. Some traditions I never really understood. Fruitcake. I don't know why people. I dropped the pen in. People love fruitcakes, and they're really fucking heavy, and they got really expensive. It's so. It was a tradition. I don't know if anybody does them or not. I have magically escaped my entire life without eating fruitcake, and I want to try to keep that going. So that was kind of an oddball thing. Fruitcake, I don't know. Well, that brings us also to holiday decorating outside. We have gone nuts, but we've dialed it back. During the pandemic, we decided to decorate inside because you put lights up, and then if you don't go anywhere, you don't actually come home and enjoy them. So we started decorating inside. And then, but the thing is with Christmas lights is when we went nuts, we went really nuts. But you have to make a decision if you're going to decorate outside if you have neighbors. Do you try to be the king of Christmas decorations, which we tried to do, and just have the fucking greatest thing that there ever was? Or do you try to follow a theme? Sometimes neighbors will do a theme, and then one neighbor will fuck it up, and that would be me, because I wouldn't want to be part of a theme of the neighbors that had. I didn't want to. I didn't want to be in the theme Christmas light club, but the thing that's been going on for quite a few years now, and I don't appreciate it at all. And I'm not going to get it now. When I say that, I doomed us to get it. The inflatable Santas and the inflatable snowmen and all that shit. Those are fucking creepy things, and people get them, and they're way too fucking big for their porches. And if you get near them, the air compressor is fucking scary. That's what's Christmassy about. And then it's too expensive and loud to run them at night, so people actually let the air out of Christmas every night. And when those things deflate, it's really fucking sad. There's no Christmas in a deflated Santa Claus. So I absolutely refuse to go with the inflatable Santa lawn things. I'm not going to do that. This is going to be a long show now, I can tell you that, because I didn't. As soon as I said that, I'll run out of shit to say. But okay, so Christmas, like, we get gifts for our pets, and that's fine. But do you do this? Some people are so nuts that they get gifts for themselves from the pets, and so the pet actually would give me a gift, and we all know the pet can't fucking shop, so you can reject this idea if you want, but I say it is a golden opportunity to get something you really, really want. Like, I have an idea where Mary and Caesar are going to get me a bottle of bourbon, bottle of Buffalo Trace. If you have gifts from your pets, if you have this opportunity, if you're with someone who is that fucking awesome and nuts, don't mock them. Use it. Quiet. Use it as a way to get something really awesome for yourself. And I will show you another example here. And we do it with kids. If you have young kids, I'm talking maybe less than 2 years old, and the baby, 6 months old, 10 months old, whatever, is going to get a gift for mother and father. It's unavoidable. You can't have a baby in the house, a 1-year-old in the house who didn't fucking give any gifts. Now you're the parent, so it's your responsibility to buy a gift. Like Mrs. Comic would have to buy a gift from our baby daughter for me, and that would be from our daughter, and then it'd be my responsibility to buy a gift for my wife from the baby for her mother. Now you can say that's fucking stupid too, but I will show you this right here. This is a vintage cross pen. It is irreplaceable. It is the pen that I accused rock star Chris Barron of stealing, which when it goes missing, I lose my fucking mind. I lose my fucking mind. There's no bourbon ball or crunk that can so this is one of the most precious gifts our grown-up daughter ever gave me, that she gave to me when she was 2 years old, and I don't think to this day she has the slightest fucking idea that she got her father this magical gift that is only for writing comedy. I don't pay bills with this. I when I lose it, there's all fucking hell breaks loose. So if you have the opportunity in your life where a pet or a baby can buy you a gift, don't fucking mock it. Seize the opportunity to get a vintage, and this pen is fucking $200 if you can find it on eBay, and you won't see me bidding on that, or get a bottle of bourbon. Don't mock shit right away if you can twang it for the system right there. So that's fun stuff right there. Let's see here.
Purple sweatshirts.
Purple sweatshirts. That's right. So that's a fun thing too. Mrs. Comic taught me something valuable when we got to be a thing. She already had 3 kids, and I've learned how to be a parent, uh, practice run, and so she taught me to treat kids like grown-ups, and so uh, they want to do the same stuff you want to do. So and then our daughter benefit from all this wisdom too. So she was very little, but old enough to know that she was now no longer a baby, and she would get to pick the gift for me that was not going to be this pen, because the 5-year-old kid isn't going to go, a pen would be really a fucking awesome gift. So sneakily, I took her to South Mall, and it was Hess's at the time. Maybe, I don't think it was Bonton yet. It was probably still Hess's, maybe Bonton. I don't know. So father and daughter were going to go without Mrs. Comic over to South Mall and get a special gift from our daughter to her mother. And then we did vice versa. And we were really good about not telling each other what we got. And she picked out purple sweatshirts for both of us. So we still have those purple sweatshirts, matching purple sweatshirts from our daughter. They're very special. That stuff to me is really fun parts of Christmas. Tradition I get from my amazing sister-in-law, pumpkin roll. And if I don't get it, I'd be sad. And there's a running joke about teasing me, and I fucking fall for it every year. They really sell it. She goes, I'm so sorry. I owe you a pumpkin roll because I have grandchildren, and we were on the other side of the state, and I didn't forget. It's just I don't, and then I just be try to pretend like I didn't give a fuck, but that I actually need to eat that, some of it Christmas Eve, or my system craves meat again, even though I'm vegetarian. And then, pow, they slip it in later on, and they fucking get me every year. So I like traditions like that. Uh, See, there's lots of stuff you can do for people in your life that, and she's making a lot of them, pumpkin rolls for everybody. So I'm on the list. I'm on the pumpkin roll list, and some people might say, well, that's not that great of a gift until they're passing out the fucking pumpkin roll, and you didn't worship pumpkin roll. So also be careful what you compliment in the year and worship when you're hanging out with family, because if you say you really love something to be polite, and you're lying, you might wind up getting that thing you lied about for Christmas, and that's some fucking serious karma there. Which brings me to some other Christmas fuck ups. So sometimes I have to adjust things. Uh, I, I'm, people hate Amazon. I use it because of convenience. It doesn't sound like I don't have a lot of free time on my hands, but I really don't have a lot of free time on my hands. The convenience of it is amazing. So the wish lists, I have one, but I use it for everything that I'm researching. If I'm researching for gifts for people, I might just save it and put it in my wish list for research. I don't know if I'm going to get that thing. And one year, somebody went in and got me something from my wish list that was actually something I was watching for somebody else. And I was really fucking surprised that I got it. So be careful with that. And I really was surprised. I'm there. Oh, this is such a nice surprise that you got me this thing that I was actually looking for someone else. So some shit at Christmas can backfire, and that can be the fun of Christmas right there. Bibbity bobbity boo. My stand-up comedy show is definitely seasonal, and the Christmas block has officially started. And there's a rant about when you're a guy and you're going into your girlfriend's family Christmas for the first year, you're not welcome in that house, and also um, you kind of get generic, sometimes cool gifts because they don't know you. So you get a case of beer, a box of meat, or some stuff like that. But once the family accepts you as a couple, there's actually no really good gifts for guys as a couple at that point in your relationship. It's all lacy doily shit and candlesticks and all kinds of stuff. The stuff that you will like later on in your life. But so that's a real eye opener too. And then you gotta really pretend that you like it, and they'll hold up a lacy doily thing, and your girlfriend will say, "Look, it's our pattern." You're like, when the fuck did I get a pattern? So that's some fun stuff of Christmas right there. Bibbity bobbity boo. We got Richter's disdain for Scrapple is covered. Boom, roasted. We got the eBay auction. See, I made notes about this thing right here. Let's see, where am I at time-wise? Oh, time-wise, the live stream has pretty much ended. So by request, I am going to wrap up this night with the snow rant, a block of the snow rant anyway. Snow is a weird thing because stand-up comedy is a winter sport, and snow, I've lost so much fucking money from snow that never snowed, and people deal with snow differently in different parts of the country. In this neighborhood, when the weatherman says wintry mix, people hear anthrax terrorist attack and panic sets in, and people actually lose their fucking minds before there's even any snow on the ground. And I have been complaining that guys are stupid assholes and women are smarter than men. I still know people that do this. When it's gonna snow, and the salt trucks go and it didn't snow yet. A lot of guys complain about that. They're salting the street and it didn't even fucking snow yet. Yes, that's because, excuse me, I burped. Uh, doesn't fucking do any good when you put salt on top of the snow. So, but people are scared to go out. I've lost more money from snow that didn't even snow because they said, watch out for black ice, which is fucking invisible. So that's a dick move. And especially when it's really cold, or if it's a transit, like this kind of weather now when it's warmer in the day. If it's snowing and it's in the 40s and it's gonna fucking drop into the 20s, that's fucking death of comedy right there, because snow is gonna snow, it's gonna melt, and it's gonna freeze, and all fucking hell breaks loose like that. It's just a big fucking nightmare. But the weathermen are only happy when it's going to be really shitty weather. When this time of year, when it's winter, when you watch the Weather Channel, I don't know who even watches the fucking Weather Channel anymore, but when they're really happy when we're going to get fucking pounded. So um, strap yourself in there. And also, if you can't drive in the snow, don't fucking drive in the snow. Or if you have a car that's not good in the snow, don't fucking drive a shitty car in the snow that you know isn't fucking good in the snow. Also, this is a complaint to my brother-in-law, the plumber, who traumatized me many years ago. I'm good at driving in the snow because I know if I have control of the car, or I have a car that's good in the snow, because I have to have a car that's good in the snow to get to my shows. There was a lot of snow on the ground. School was fucking around, canceling this way and that. They went late, and then they let out early. And I'm riding the kids, our daughter, and our niece. I'm driving, shuffling them back and forth. And this took the whole day. I also had to take the nan to the bank and all kinds of stuff. My whole day was shuffling people around on really fucking snowy roads. And in this town of Mayes, my brother-in-law saw me it was out around what used to be where Rita's is, and he saw me, and he was coming at me with his van, and he decided to fishtail it and have the van come sideways at me on Chestnut Street as a funny joke, and if not with no concern for me shitting in my pants. That I could recognize my brother-in-law, and he seemed like he lost control of the van, and he's gonna fucking kill us all. And then, ha ha, wasn't that funny when he turned the wheel and he straightened everything out. So snow is also one of those things where in this town, and this is kind of a sad thing anymore because this is a scenario where you kids don't remember the amount of cars that are on the road now have eliminated all snow fun in this town. I've been in this town for fucking ever. When it would snow, they would actually close alleys and shit so you could sled ride on them, and that was a guarantee there'd be no fucking school tomorrow because they closed the streets and you could sled ride on a fucking Sunday night and school wasn't closed yet. You're like, there's no fucking way school was going to close because they said we could sled ride in the alley. And sometimes they fuck us and they opens up school and we'd be really fucking mad. How the fuck can you have school open when we got to go sled riding last night? So there's snow shit coming on right now. The other bad thing with snow is that if you go to a place and it hasn't snowed and it snows while you're there and you gotta fucking get home, that's some fucking crazy shit there. Please, sister, this doesn't even count as the snow rant. I'm gonna owe you a snow rant, but these are snow stories. These are both show business related. Now, one is that I was working in the printing shop with the guy with the southern accent who was only from Baltimore, and he tricked me, and I had to steal the company van to go to shows in Lancaster. I didn't really ask permission for it, I just took it, and he came along with me, and this thing was terrible, 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 terrible in the snow, which wasn't a problem because it wasn't actually snowing here when we left. And he came along with me, and this was a really nice guy, but he talked more than I do, and I need quiet to get to my shows. And he would have a conversation for both of us, and he'd ask me a question, and I wouldn't answer, and he'd say, "Quiet, is that what you say, man?" And he would answer the question. So, so I'm stuck with Todd, the talking man, and we took the van, and then while I was in Lancaster performing my show, 2 fucking feet of snow fell on the ground. 2 fucking feet of snow. And this van wasn't fucking going anywhere. And I tried like a son of a bitch to get us home. I wasn't going to be spending a night in Lancaster in a fucking hotel room with talking Todd, who drove me over the fucking deep edge. So I tried like hell to drive this fucking van home in 2 feet of snow. And I got stuck at Laps Family Restaurant just a half a block from where the show was. Had to leave the fucking van there and walk back in the snow with talking Todd. Then call my lovely wife, Mrs. Comic, who thought I was possibly with a whore because there wasn't one fucking flake of snow on the ground. And we didn't have internet then, we didn't have any of this shit. So it was difficult to verify the snow on the ground. So I smoothed things out. And she understood that I was stranded. And so I'm in a fucking bad mood. And a really shitty room, not attached to the hotel, a fucking little box, fucking mice running around and fucking cold as hell, and me laying in bed trying to fucking sleep, and Todd over on the sofa talking to himself and answering for himself, and he's there. Wonder if they got any orange soda out there in the soda machine. Quiet, I'm trying to sleep. Is that what you say? Yeah, that's what you say. If you want some orange soda, why don't you go get and look? So I had to fucking put up with that all night. Then he actually went and got orange soda, and then he got me an orange soda, knowing that he woke me up and I would probably want his orange soda. So that was kind of nice of him. So that's snow story number one. And down there, Lancaster, um, I've started there and I emceed. And that's a shitty gig to MC. You do 15 minutes up front and then introduce somebody, then you do 5 minutes in between, introduce them, and money's shitty. And they had one show Friday, two Saturday, one Sunday, suck that shit balls. But it was good experience and fucking $200 I get for the whole weekend. And then the guy turned out to be a really nice guy, but when you first start working for him, he was a dick on purpose. Um, and I was an MC and I was drawing people, so that's you shouldn't really have a following when you're an MC, but things were moving for me. So I was heading down there in the snowstorm, and some areas are not afraid of snow. Lancaster was not afraid of snow. People would drive it. State College, not afraid of snow. In fact, I was worried about a weekend at State College because I have a door deal, and it didn't snow enough to fucking scare the fuck out of me, but people were defiant. Like, it's only fucking 2 inches, bibbidi bobbidi boo. So it was snowing like a motherfucker, and I told the guy I couldn't get down there. He yelled at me, "You gotta fucking get down here." So I drove a car in the snow that shouldn't drive in the snow. It was a fucking shitty car, and I was all just in Reading, going a back way, and there's a hill that goes straight the fuck up and straight the fuck down, and the roads were frozen, and I'm like, fuck. It was one of those where you need a head of steam to get over this fucking hill, and it was already backed up. Cars were backed up not on the other side of the hill, because when you made it over the tippy top, you were clear, but they were actually stuck, and people were fucking pissed, and I was probably about 5 cars from the top, and people were just watching the car ahead of them spin and try to go over it, and a couple made it, and then somebody didn't make it. So I decided I'd get out of the car and I would get the people out of their cars who were ahead of me, so that I'm car number 5. So now we have car number 1 stuck, and we have 2, 3, 4, and me 5 to help push, and cars behind us thought this was a great idea. We will go and push car number 1, and they will go, and then we will push car number 2, and then we will go and do this system. And I might have been like car number 3, and I thought it up. So when I went, it was my turn. I just fucking left and I was gone. So I thought that up to get us over the thing, and the snow that night was so bad that when I got to Lancaster, Rinaldi, the cocksucker who made me drive in the snow, who gives you payroll deductions before you get paid. How many calls did he make? Did you have spaghetti, baby, Bobby? So he actually hugged me, which really upset me. When somebody who doesn't hug you is happy you're alive, that's a sign that you probably should not have driven in the snow. So I will leave you with that. If there's an opportunity for you to drive in snow that you should not drive in, don't drive in that fucking snow. I love yous. Mrs. Comic loves yous. Thanks for tuning in. We should be back here next Tuesday night. I don't know if there's a break for if it's Christmas. I'm not going to stream on Christmas. But pick up your tickets for Sellersville Theater day after Christmas. It's selling very nicely. New Year's Eve, Emmaus Theater selling. I don't know how it's selling. And there'll be an Arts Quest over at the casino area there of sometime in January. You peckerheads rock. And when this is done, I am going to drink some bourbon. I might have a crunk. I'll leave you with this, Richter. This is my David Lynch commemorative drive-in movie shirt. That I only got the shirt because I couldn't go because Caesar was stuck up in a fucking tree. Now he's upstairs, and that's a happy Christmas to me. There you go. I'm going to do this just here. And oh, there. I forgot to tell you this. Last week I talked about the Subaru driving over a tree on the way home from a Thanksgiving Eve show. That's not the tree, but that is an accurate picture of the tree that I drove over. That's a stump. If you take that tree and make it actual tree size, that both front tires of the Subaru drove over, and both back tires drove over, and the sound was like an atomic explosion, and I didn't get flat tires, and my mechanic said that I was drunk because I couldn't have driven over a tree, and then he goes, hey, I thought you were kidding, but we found a little tree in your tire. There it is. I wanted that picture for last week, but better late than never. Stream ending soon. Signing off, and you guys rock. We really